talking about money. A lot of people are freaking out over the Dolphins and being, what, 50 million over the cap space. I'm going to try my best to ease your mind. So let's talk some money. What is up, Fin fans? Yes, we are talking about the Miami Dolphin cap situation. Now, I'm going into somewhat of a detail on what they can do cap-wise. I'm not in this video necessarily going to talk about who they should cut or re-sign. I am going to talk about some cuts that would save money, but the whole cut re-sign videos are for a different day. This one, I'm trying to get you guys situated with the cap space and all that stuff. So we're going to talk about the cap space. I also have packages I need to open. I have some packages from Homage. Homage. If you guys remember, I talked about them being a sponsor and them having really cool stuff. Well, they sent me some stuff. They sent me a bunch of stuff. So we're going to open it. I got a package from one of you guys. I got a letter from one of you guys. We're going to open that at the end of the video. But of course, we are talking about money. So if we're talking about money, we got to talk about our sponsor from today, and that is BetUS.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything, anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Click on the link in the description. You get 125% of your first deposit up to $2,500. Matched by BetUS. Also 24-hour, 7-day-a-week customer service, a 24-hour payout. Also, they are giving away Super Bowl tickets. Got to follow them on Twitter. Check it out. Click the link in my description and check them out. Again, BetUS, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. So now the Miami Dolphin cap situation. We're going to kind of look at what is going on. So we're going to look at over the cap. We're also going to look at Spot Track, because Spot Track, to me, when you click on contracts, kind of looks a little bit better here. And over the cap, it's kind of a little bit more confusing when you look at it here. But just to give you an idea of where the Dolphins are sitting at cap-wise, they are negative 51.898.26. They're negative 51 million on the cap, and that's not fun. So a lot of people are having heart palpitations and worried, how are we going to sign free agents? What are we going to do? This, and that, yada, yada, blah, 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 bing, bang, bing. Well, I did my math. I did my calculations. Go check out Omar Kelly's article. I will link it in the description. Also, go subscribe to their channel, All Dolphins Podcast. I'm going to try to get him and Alan Poupart on at the same time. It's going to be the three of us. They're busy men, so I'm trying to get the three of us together to sit down and have a conversation. It's going to be a long video, but go check out their channel and subscribe. It's linked in the description as well. I got a lot of things linked in the description. Go check it out. But the Miami Dolphins, like I said, are 51.9 million over the cap. They got to fix that. It's bad. I have a way of getting them 16.3 million under the cap. Yeah, and in only 6 moves. In 6 moves, I can get them under the cap by 16.3 million. And that's not even the end of it. They could be so much further under, but it all depends on what is going to happen down the road. Now, let me pull myself back up on the screen here, because someone on Twitter who's kind of prolific in the understanding of cap space and all that stuff, Jason OTC, he put a tweet out saying, here's the thing with the cap is fake stuff. He put in quotes. Short term, nobody is impacted by salary cap. It's easy to manipulate and everyone can get under the cap. The problem is long term for a team. When you keep pushing and pushing, you eventually get to 2 points. You either have to completely tear things down and rebuild around some new young pieces. This should be like the Packers, the Bears, etc. type situation right now. If you remember, the Packers were in cap hell, and they have a very young team, but look how far they got in the playoffs. You get really old. This is the other one. You get really old, are forced to keep some players, and often lose free agents you want to keep, and wind up trying to find cheaper players in free agency to fill those spots. This is the Saints right now, with the Falcons were at the end with Ryan and Jones, etc. Eventually, this likely leads to a teardown as well. Atlanta went through it, so did Chicago. It just takes years to get there. The saving grace for a team in both scenarios, if they hit the draft, Rams this year clearly hit big, the Saints back in 2017. So essentially what he's saying is, you kick the can, you kick the can, you kick the can, eventually the can's going to kick you back. I understand that, and this is the way I see it. The Miami Dolphins are kind of still in a win now mode, right? You look at Tyreek Hill's contract. After this year, they have an out. I'm talking like you can't see it, and I could just show you. You look at Tyreek Hill's contract. If you remember when he did an interview, I think in about 2020, he said in 2 years he wants to retire. If he does decide to do that in 2 years, the Dolphins have an out. And you could see here, they save $11 million if they cut him in 2025. They built the out in here 3 years after the big fat contract they gave him. And then if they wait till post-June 1st, they save $22.9 million. So to me, kicking the can, and then eventually you have to rebuild, I'm fine with that, because we got one more year with Tyreek Hill. And if you look at like Jalen Ramsey, this is his last year. After that, he has an out. So with, when it comes to their guaranteed money, that's it. You look at Bradley Chubb. I talked about this ad nauseum. This is his last year with full guaranteed money. Same thing with Teron Armstead. This is his last year. The Dolphins put it in that way that we get somewhat of, help after 2024, that we can move on from guys and we can save a ton of cap space. So what's the thought process right now as I'm rambling on? Like I said, this is why I'm using over the cap, because if you look here on Spot Track, they're showing negative 42 million. They didn't add in the numbers of the 8 future contracts. They did kind of put them numbers in there, right? So that's why they're showing more of an accurate number of negative 51 million. So here is the process that I went through to get to 16 million in cap savings. Okay. So first and foremost, there's some restructuring that's going to need to get done. And this is where I got some help from Omar Kelly's article. Please go check it out. Now, if you look here at Tyreek Hill, we'll start with Tyreek Hill. I'm only going to restructure one guy, and I only needed to restructure one guy to get over 16 million in cap space, that we were good to go. So if you look at Tyreek Hill here, and I do apologize for the horrible color option on their title here. I don't know why they did this. It's like, just tears into your eyes. Guaranteed salary, he has 19.6 million in guarantee. If you round up, 19.7 million in guaranteed salary, and you have 31.3 in his cap hit number. If the Miami Dolphins and Stephen Ross whipped out his checkbook and they took that guaranteed salary and they made it a signing bonus, that essentially would save 11. It would knock his cap hit from 31 million to 11.7 million. So they saved 19.6 million just by taking out their checkbook and being like, all right, here, that's a signing bonus. You can keep that. You're all good. You're Gucci. But Omar Kelly pointed something out, and I found it very interesting with Tyreek Hill. Again, I'll show you one more time. One last year of having that guaranteed, even with Jalen Ramsey. And this is why I'm just touching upon Tyreek Hill. Will go into the Jalen Ramsey. This is his, last year as well. These vets like having that structure. They like being able to have that, okay, I will have another year on my contract, or I have another potential year with some guaranteed money still left on. They like that security in their contract. So with Tyreek Hill, they could just, give him a signing bonus. Hey, do you still want to retire next year? Have you thought about that? If that's the case here, we'll turn your 31 million. We'll give you your 19.7 million in a signing bonus. It'll save us 19.7 million in cap space. So you could take that 19.7 million and now subtract it from the 51.9 million. I unfortunately can't do that here. They don't have that style of doing it. I will hit the calculator just to show you some other things, but they don't really have that where I can, if you look here, it's like restructure and then, nonprofit bonus. Just imagine I did that. So there's your one and only restructuring. We took the 19.7 million signing bonus. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's a possibility. Also, I'm going to talk more about Tyreek, Jalen Ramsey, Bradley Chubb in a second, but I'm just trying to take your mind at ease. So take that 19.7 million and you can subtract it from the 51.89 million. The other options are Xavier Howard post June 1st cut. You do that, you save money. You already see we went from 51 million negative to 33.4 million negative. Emmanuel Ogbah, you cut him. Boom. Already down to 19 million. You see we have a 13.7 million cap savings and 18.5 million cap savings. Then underneath line is the cap savings. Go to Jerome Baker, you cut him. Look at that. We're only 9 million. I did 3 moves. I didn't even do the Tyreek Hill thing yet. And we already went from negative 51 million to under 9 million. I'm not done yet. We go over to Mike White. We cut him. We go over to Keon Crossan. We cut him. So there's 5 cuts right there. And to be honest with you, Emmanuel Ogbah is going to happen. Xavier Howard, they could possibly restructure his contract, keep him another year, move his signing bonus. Same thing with Jerome Baker. Again, go read Omar Kelly's article. But if you look right there, I made 5 cuts that you could see happen, and look at where the Miami Dolphins are in cap space. We went from a negative 51 million to a 3.3 million over the cap. And like I said, you take Tyreek Hill's $19.7 million and you give it to him as a signing bonus. Then you take that 19.7 million and you subtract it by the 13.3, 13.4, you get $16.3 million in cap space. Just like that. 5 moves, 6 moves, 5 cuts, 1 restructure. We have $16 million in cap space. Is that enough to re-sign guys that are on here like Christian Wilkins, Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, Isaiah Wynn? I'm spoiling videos. No, that's where the other stuff comes in. Jalen Ramsey, you could do the same thing. You see his guaranteed money is 25.5. You could do that in a signing bonus. This is, again, where they said they're going to sit down with Stephen Ross. Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer, Brandon Shore said they're going to sit down with Stephen Ross because he needs to sign some fat checks. 19.7 million. You make that into a signing bonus. Then all of a sudden, you have so much cap space to play with because you take the 16.3, and again, I'm not saying this is going to happen because it's bad business as a businessman, and he's obviously knows what he's doing as business. 16.3, you add in the 25.5, and you add in the 19.7. Again, I'm not saying this is going to happen. It's bad business for Stephen Ross to write a check for $70 million for 3 players. But if he did do that, if he somehow was like, I'll do it, I love this team, the Miami Dolphins will be sitting at $61.5 million in cap space. And they can do whatever they want this season. But that isn't logical. Go read Omar Kelly's article. What they could do, especially with Jalen Ramsey, I would like Jalen Ramsey, and then we'll go back to this one because it's more aesthetically pleasing to your eye if you could see here. But again, if I go to manage roster on here, it's a little bit different, right? I can only release. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like you cut, it's not, you don't get any post June 1st options. Cut, Like if I cut him, see, we don't save as much. Keon Crossing cut. That was 5, right? Yeah. And then base restructure. Did that work? No, I don't think that worked. Yeah, because his cap number only went down by a certain amount. So that didn't really work. But anyway, trying here, fellas and ladies and gentlemen of the jury. So you go to Jalen Ramsey here, and like I said, I would like to see him stay on the team. He's going to be 30, but he still played really well. I'd like to see him get another year. You could restructure him. Give him another year fully guaranteed, so you push this potential out, and the dead cap of 5.3, because again, if you look here, his guaranteed money drops. His cap hit goes from 27 to 21. Yearly cash, it drops here. This is where the Dolphins have the out. Give him more security. Move this down to after 2025. You get him another year. You restructure his contract. We get more cap space here. Bradley Chubb, same thing could be done with him. Again, they set up his contract. They have another out here where they can move on from him. 10 million, 20 million if you wait till post June 1st to either trade or release after this year. Make that move. Okay, we'll give you more of longevity. You had 11 sacks before you got hurt. You really started coming along. We feel comfortable with you moving forward. We'll give you another year of guarantee. We'll restructure this contract so it's not such a big cap hit of 26.8 million. We'll move that around. We'll get more cap space. I can really see the Dolphins doing some moves and being at least 25, 26 million in cap space. The other thing we have to talk about is Teron Armstead. Is he going to retire? Now, here's the thing. He's still due his contract. He's still due a buttload of money. And I'm going to show you exactly right here what Omar Kelly said. Again, go check his full article. He says Armstead mentioned retirement in his exit interview and considering he fought through a laundry list of injuries in his 11 seasons, it's reasonable for the Pro Bowl left tackle to consider walking away. However, it's unlikely that he's about to walk away from 14.2 million he's guaranteed if he's on the roster on March 16th. The year starts on March 13th. And 5 million of that figures already owed. The Dolphins don't have much wiggle room with Armstead because of the language in his contract and the fact that Miami structured his deal last season to gain cap space. If Armstead did retire, he'd cost Miami an extra 4.6 million in dead cap, and the Dolphins would have to add left tackle to the laundry list of team needs. It doesn't help that Kendall Lamb, who started 8 games last season, is also a free agent. So again, he's not retiring. You know, you still draft or you still bring in a left tackle or a tackle to help, God forbid, he gets injured again. But he's not going to retire. He's not going to walk away from the money he is owed. So again, I keep saying so again. We're sitting here. Let me go back to full screen so you can see my beautiful face. We're sitting here, and like I said to you, just from restructuring Tyreek Hill, from cutting Howard, cutting Baker, cutting Agba, cutting Crossan, and cutting Mike White, you rock with Skylar Thompson as your backup. I feel more comfortable with Skylar Thompson as my backup than Mike White. You're at 16.3 million in cap space, right? You do some more restructuring, whether it's Jalen Ramsey or Bradley Chubb, you get even more cap space, maybe another 10 million, maybe another 15 million. You're sitting at about 31 million in cap space. You don't touch Teron Armstead because he's due his money. You put the language in his contract. You already restructured him. You don't touch him. The big fat elephant in the room that we've all been talking about and thinking about all off season, and he's going to get his own video, is Tua Tagovailoa. Now, with the moves that I said, the 5 moves, I'm going to reiterate it, the 6 moves, we have cap space. We can make some moves, 16.3 million. You do the other restructuring, you get even more moves, probably around 30-something million cap space. Tua Tagovailoa is going to cost $23.2 million in cap space. If they give him a contract extension, they can move his cap hit down to about 6 million. So they could save another 17 million in cap space. So say they don't touch Jalen Ramsey. Say they don't touch Bradley Chubb. They're like, we can't keep kicking the can down the road with these guys. Even though Jalen, I would touch his. I want him, to be on the team maybe another year because I think he's done really well. and they decide whatever number it is. I don't know. And that's, again, I got a video plan for that. They re-sign Tua to a new contract. Then even just by doing those 7 moves, we get about 30 million in cap space. So again, a lot of people were worried and a lot of people were stressed out over the cap space, but I showed you in 6 easy moves that we could very easily get under the cap space. Now, obviously, with Xavier Howard being cut, and again, I'm going to make a whole video about the cuts and re-signs, you got to hope that Cam Smith, pans out, and it's just they sat him to, get him more prepared. You got to hope that with Emmanuel Ogbah not being there, we get another pass rusher, or our pass rushers, Andrew Van Ginkel, who his agent said he wants to come back and he'll be ready for training camp, and Drew Rosenhaus is ready. Jerome Baker, we need to get a middle linebacker. We're good with David Long, but Jerome Baker's not cutting it. And then Keon Cross and Mike White, you're not going to miss them. So very easily, the Dolphins can get cap space. So I made this video so you guys can just take a deep breath. And a lot of people are like, we can't even do anything, Doug. We have no cap space. We're negative 51 million in cap space. How are we going to do that? You want to go out and get so-and-so. We have no money. You want to sign this free agent. We have no money. And I showed you in 6 easy moves, 5 of them being cuts, 1 of them being a restructure, not even you just giving him his guaranteed as a signing bonus. We get money. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So everyone can just take a deep breath. But comment below. Let me know what you think. Am I being ridiculous? Comment below. Let me know what you think. I'm going to open these packages. We're going to start with the homage. Go check them out. Really cool stuff. This feels big. They were going to send it to me in a box, but they got messed up. This is a sweatshirt. And this looks like an awesome sweatshirt. Oh, it's so orange. Look at this thing. This thing is so cool. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's going to my hoodie collection. I'm telling you, you guys got to go check them out. They got some really good stuff. I don't sponsor, or I don't have people sponsor me if I don't like their stuff. Like BetUS and all that stuff. Look at this t-shirt. Oh, this shirt is so cool. NFL Jam. Oh, I love this shirt. Look at this shirt. It's so cool. Oh. What's this one? They give me one more. Oh, my goodness. The Blitz. NFL Blitz. With Dan the Man. Oh, they're so soft. They are so soft. Go check them out. Homage. Thank you so much for that. Let me get to these packages now. Oh, yeah. This one is from Chris Cabin from Little Falls. You're not that far from me, Little Falls. Well, not as far as Florida. Those shirts are nice. For real, guys. Go check out Homage. I'm probably butchering their name. Let's see. What's in here? Letter. I'll read the letter. Oh, this is... If you guys remember one of my live streams. Ed's Pizza. Ed's Pizza Place. My name is not Ed. Oh, and look, it's got a dolphin logo on the shoulder. Oh, Ed. His name's not Ed. This is so awesome. It's a big hoodie. I like big hoodies. He said he was, if you guys were in my live stream that one time, I promoted his pizza place in Little Falls. Let's see. Sent a letter. Hey, Doug, Chris Caban here. I watched you for a few years. Now you're my favorite podcast to listen to while I'm at my pizzeria prepping in the morning. I love your videos, breakdowns, and views on the Dolphins. I feel like we are on the same page. I got this made for you. Dude, you're awesome. The slogan on the back is because no one is named Ed here, even though we were Ed's Pizza. Long story for another time. Check the right sleeve. Merry Christmas, brother. This is sorry I opened this so late. P.S. Got a 3XL because I heard you were a big guy and I didn't want it to shrink. Oh, I love big hoodies, so I love you and thank you so much for that. So cool. And then I got this last letter. This letter is from my man Jeff, aka Nabi was so good too. One of my mods. It's a long, heartfelt letter that I'm going to read myself. Thank you, Jeff. I'm going to read this myself off camera, if that's all right with you, bud. But thank you, Ed. Not Ed, Chris. Love the hoodie. Homage. Go check them out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, breaking down the salary cap. I'm going to talk about the offensive line. I'm going to do my video kind of Tom Grassi-esque recapping the season. Got a lot planned. Also, I got a new interface, so tell me if the mic sounds better. I think it sounds a little bit better. But on that, I'll see you guys tomorrow like usual. Stay classy and fins out.